Welcome to my theme titled 30 billion US dollars repatriation money available for Jamaica to claim, funding to build 30,000 affordable housing units each year, employing 300,000 Jamaicans in permanent full-time jobs, and earning an extra 10 billion US dollars each year for the country's GDP. Some key features of the 30 billion US dollars repatriation funding program are A, 120 hotels to be built across Jamaica, especially near areas with high unemployment rates, earning an extra 10 billion US dollars each year for Jamaica. B, providing 300,000 permanent full-time jobs for low-skilled citizens in rural parishes across Jamaica. C, 300,000 affordable housing units to be built over the next 10 years, from 2025 to 2034, 30,000 to be built each year. D, franchises for the 120 large all-inclusive hotels will be given to foreign direct investment over the next 1 to 5 years, from 2025 to 2029. E, each hotel costing approximately 250 million US dollars to build, totaling 30 billion US dollars, all paid for by the FDI's repatriation money coming back to Jamaica. In today's presentation, we will be looking at why gangs are formed in Jamaica, and what can be done to stop gangs from forming in the first place. Jamaica can learn a lot from the crime problems that were plaguing England in the 1990s and how the British government dealt with the crime problems back then. In fact, in the 1997 general election, Tony Blair from the Labour Party used his crime-fighting proposals effectively to win a landslide victory back then. Tony Blair's slogan, "Tough on crime, tough on the causes of crime," was a key part of New Labour's approach to law and order in the 1997 UK general election. It reflected Blair's strategy of balancing traditional Labour concerns about social justice with a firm stance on crime, appealing to both the working class and middle-class voters. The slogan aimed to signal that Labour would not only enforce stricter policing and sentencing, tough on crime, but also address the underlying social issues such as poverty, lack of education, and unemployment that contribute to criminal behavior, tough on the causes of crime. This approach helped reposition Labour as a party that could be trusted on law and order, an area traditionally seen as a conservative strength. It played a significant role in Blair's landslide victory in 1997. Having been brought up in Jamaica, I have the experience of seeing a quiet teacher's pet boy in primary school become a murderer within 3 to 4 years after leaving secondary school. I also know that if some of these young men had the opportunity of working in an all-inclusive hotel in our town or parish, shortly after they leave secondary school, a group of 6 or 8 of them would jump at the opportunity. This is just from my gang of youths who I went to school with and who live nearby me. Many other groups of friends who live on the same streets across Jamaica would do the same thing as well, working together in an all-inclusive hotel shortly after they leave secondary school. Jamaicans need to start viewing these mega-large all-inclusive hotels as factories, providing permanent full-time jobs for local people who are making goods to export abroad. Tourism has the same effect as exporting because we are earning foreign currency. Tourism is actually better than making goods to send abroad because Jamaica will not have the hassle of these trade wars that are currently going on around the world, with its tariffs and so on. I had a vision of people rising up and leaving their nice tropical country, where they used to play outside with their families. People who used to have swings and trees in their backyard, where the families would gather around to play and so on. Then the people just started to rise up, 1 by 1 and 2 by 2, and started traveling abroad. In my vision, it was as if God was not pleased with all this breaking up of families and so forth. Then I had another vision about a year later where my family and I were praying for Jamaica. It was as if there were about 8 of us standing on the edges of the north coast and on the south coast of Jamaica, stretching our hands across Jamaica. Then we held each other's hands as we were praying for Jamaica. I have 10 full siblings, including myself, plus another 6 half-siblings. Instead of using Jamaica's taxpayers' money to build more and more prisons like the government is doing now, let the Europeans use the repatriation money to build mega-large, all-inclusive hotels all along the coast of Jamaica. How did Tony Blair carry out his tough on the causes of crime policy? Tony Blair's tough on the causes of crime policy was carried out through a combination of social, economic, and educational reforms aimed at addressing the root causes of criminal behavior. His government believed that tackling poverty, unemployment, poor education, and social exclusion would help reduce crime in the long term. Key initiatives included education reforms included the Sure Start program in 1998, which provided early childhood education, health, and family support services to disadvantaged children, aiming to break the cycle of poverty and underachievement. There was also significant investment in schools, with increased funding, the introduction of literacy and numeracy programs, and the expansion of specialist schools to improve educational attainment. Additionally, the Education Maintenance Allowance, introduced in 2004, provided financial support to low-income students staying in education post-16, reducing dropout rates and youth unemployment. Welfare and employment policies were another crucial part of the strategy. The New Deal program, launched in 1998, aimed at getting young people, single parents, and the long-term unemployed into work through job training, work placements, and financial incentives for employers. The introduction of a minimum wage in 1999 established a legal minimum wage to reduce in-work poverty and financial desperation that could lead to crime. Additionally, tax credits and welfare reforms increased child benefits and working tax credits to help low-income families and reduce economic hardship. Crime prevention and youth intervention. The youth justice system reform created the Youth Justice Board and expanded early intervention programs to prevent young people from getting involved in crime. Anti-social behavior orders, or ASBOs, introduced in 1998, aimed at tackling persistent low-level crime and disorder, particularly among young offenders. Tackling drug use saw increased funding for drug treatment programs and introduced drug treatment and testing orders, or DTTOs, to rehabilitate offenders rather than just imprisoning them. Community investment and policing. The Neighborhood Renewal Strategy of 2001 invested in deprived areas, improving housing, healthcare, and community facilities to tackle social exclusion. There were more police officers with increased police funding and the introduction of community support officers, or PCSOs, to improve local policing and crime prevention. The Crime and Disorder Act of 1998 introduced measures like local crime audits and partnerships between police, councils, and community groups to address crime at a local level. While these policies contributed to a decline in crime rates, critics argued that some measures, like ASBOs, were too punitive and that deep-rooted social issues required even more sustained investment. Nonetheless, Blair's approach represented a major shift in Labor's stance on crime, blending law enforcement with social reform to address the causes of criminal behavior. Not every youth in Jamaica who left high school without an education wants to go straight into a trade. Some have various challenges, especially if they are from very low-income households. Some either have to find a job straight after school or help out with whatever hustling their families are doing, even if the hustling is not bringing in much income for the family to live comfortably. Of all the boys in my town who I left high school with, only 3 of us went to the local trade training center, now called the HEART program. The intake year begins 8 months after we finished high school. We finished high school in June, and the trade training starts the following February. Those who never went to learn a trade straight after high school never went to the training center, now called the HEART program. The HEART program is still operating from the same building in the town that I was brought up in. In spite of the challenges that some of our youths are facing in Jamaica, many of whom are from broken homes, it is better to put our youths to work in a large, all-inclusive hotel when they leave school, rather than leaving them to join gangs. If Jamaica can keep our youths away from the gangs for the first 3 to 4 years after they leave secondary school, then they will not end up as criminals. Jamaica is about 120 miles long. Hence, even if 80 of the 120 hotels were to be placed on the south coast of Jamaica, then one hotel would be 1.5 miles from the other hotel. Bearing in mind that the north coast already has most of the hotels in Jamaica, hence most of the new hotels would need to be placed on the south coast of Jamaica for an equitable spread of the hotels across Jamaica. We know that the hotels will not be spread evenly along Jamaica's coastlines, as I have mentioned above. What is more likely to happen is that hotels are clustered near to each other. This has many benefits, including making it easier for the government to put in the infrastructure such as water, roads, and electricity, etc. Each hotel would provide 1,000 permanent full-time jobs in each hotel, and another 1,000 to 2,000 indirect jobs around the areas where each hotel is being built. Some of my notes are available in the description section and in the comments section of this post. Feel free to take part in this discussion on how to develop Jamaica. This is part 6 of my current series. Look out for part 7. Thanks for watching this video. To support this channel, please click on the subscribe button. Share this video in your WhatsApp groups and send it to all your friends as we try to demonstrate how the tourism industry can transform lives in Jamaica. Remember to let us know what you think about this video by leaving your comments below. God bless you, God bless the Jamaican Parliament, and God bless Jamaica. Until my next video, peace.